This past Sunday, Rainbow Six Siege's 6th Six Invitational came to a close. And for the most part, it was riveting, refreshing, and all around a resounding success. Again, for the most part. The competition was stiffer than ever before. The Year 7 roadmap lived up to its promise to usher in the so-called Year of Siege, and we all got to watch as North America's lean-spamming Chosen One hoisted the hammer in spectacular fashion. So why is it that Ubisoft decided to sour all of that with one terribly timed blog post? Why did it send the community into an uproar? And more importantly, how did that uproar inspire Ubisoft to backtrack on it? Okay, so it feels kind of weird to do a sub-throw on a video like this, so I won't. What I will do is say that it has been a long-ass time since I have had a good reason to do a Siege Don't At Me, and hot damn, am I glad to be back. This is going to be a big year for Rainbow Six, and I hope that you're as psyched as I am to watch it unfold. All right, let's get into it. For starters, the esports stuff, since despite what you might glean from the comment section of this show, that is actually what we talk about. After 2 awesome, grueling weeks of play, the 2022 Six Invitational ended with North America's resident bridesmaids, Team Bolo Mid, taking the cake. Having made it to SI through the open qualifier, no step of TSM's journey was certain, especially considering they'd secured back-to-back 3rd and 4th place finishes at SI 2020 and SI 2021. And yet, after losing to Empire in the upper bracket final, TSM showed up to play on Sunday, executing a juicy yet unexpected double whammy, dumpstering FaZe before running it back against the Russians in the grand final.
Empire have come so close before, but they've fallen short and they'll do so again. TSM said trust the process. The process just won you a world championship. TSM are your 6th Invitational 2022 world champs.
They come through the open qualifier. They had no chance at making here besides that last option, and against all odds, as one of the lowest seeds at this entire event, they've done it. North America on top.
I won't get into the nitty-gritty of their fairy tale storyline since, well, that'll be for a later video. What I will say is that if you've been following this roster since the very beginning, like we're talking achieved 2-year Challenger League grind, almost getting relegated once he got to Pro League, taking a chance on Burke, the Bolo acquisition, you love to see these boys in particular hoisting the hammer. I will also say that cheeky monikers aside, there was nothing individualistic about Team Solo Mid's performance. Did Bolo do disgusting, unthinkable things to people's faces? Yes, obviously. He's Bolo. That's what he does. And for those of us who've been Bo-leavers since the ranked demon days, it was genuinely awe-inspiring to watch this sweet, humble as hell YouTuber fulfill his dreams. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what esports is all about.
Congratulations to TSM. They are your 6th Invitational 2022 champions. NA lifts its 3rd hammer.
But from a performance standpoint, it was undoubtedly my boy Achieved and Entry God / in-game leader Merc who put up the biggest stats and ended up getting the MVP nods. And rightfully so. Those dudes were insanely impactful across the board. There were other equally awesome storylines as well, of course. Damwon, Onigiri going big, Sonics, Europe getting sort of pooped on, but there's too much to sort of do a deep dive all in one video. All in all, a superb tournament that delivered in a way that I think we can all agree Siege needed. Speaking of delivering things that Siege needed, let's talk about the reveal panel. Touted as the so-called Year of Siege, Ubisoft's Year 7 roadmap contained, well, just about everything we as a community had been clamoring for. Now, I can't go over every little detail, because there's a lot, but I can definitely cover the important bits. Let's start with this coming season, which Ubi has titled Demon Veil. First things first, the operator, Azami. What does she do? Well, let's just say she's Jet if Jet's knives could be thrown onto objects and spawn bulletproof sage walls. Yes, you heard me. Jet knives, sage walls. That is in fact what I said. Now, to say that this operator could be game-changing is a gross understatement. As some of Siege's craftiest creators have already posited, Azami could very well be the most sophisticated and complex operator that has ever been introduced into Siege. The possibilities her gadget presents are the closest thing the game has ever seen to endless, and it is exciting as hell. Demon Veil is also bringing us a Goyo rework, universal one-time sights, a new map called Emerald Plains, attacker repick, and the team deathmatch mode they demoed a while back. We're also getting the ranked phone verification thing that Ubisoft announced a few weeks ago, and I think I speak for all of us when I say, thank God. As for what's coming throughout the rest of Year 7, buckle up, motherfuckers. From a ranked rework to improved anti-toxicity measures to R6 share changes to a privacy mode reputation system and improved onboarding system, and yes, eventually a console FOV slider, the message that Ubisoft is conveying with the Year 7 roadmap is clear, since, well, the new creative director, Alex Karpazis, literally said it.
My love for this game and the team's dedication means that we'll always be pushing for more on Siege. We'll always try to push ourselves to do better and to give more to you, the community. And that's our promise to you, to be bigger and better in Year 7 and in the future years to make sure that Siege is here to stay.
And for the first time in a long time, I believe it. All right, I'm here. Here I am, drinking the Kool-Aid. You know why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally getting a God-forsaken practice range. I gotta be honest, man. I kind of never thought this day would come. No more getting Stewie 2K pop flashed by every T every time you round a corner. No sir. Ubisoft have finally achieved the miraculous feat of creating a static, unchanging room where I can walk in and shoot at a wall in peace. Why did it take so long? Homie, I have lost sleep wondering about that very same thing. But who cares? The point is, we have it now. Oh, and for those who were clamoring during the panel, where's the anti-cheat? Ubisoft kept good on their promise and delivered it just over a week prior. So all of this is excellent, right? Like, exactly what we wanted. Short answer? Yes. Long answer? Hell yes. The Year of Siege is upon us, and it is not hopium in the slightest to say that the future of our beautiful, albeit imperfect shooter is looking very bright. So how did Ubisoft not only fail to stick the landing, but tailspin into chaos? Well, you see, right at the close of the panel's esports segment, Siege's director of esports mentioned that the second major of the year would be taking place in one of two regions, Europe or the Middle East. Now, the second of those may have come as a bit of a surprise, until you remember that not 4 weeks ago, both ESL and FACEIT, with whom Ubisoft runs Siege's esports infrastructure, were purchased by Savvy Gaming, who are backed by the Saudi Arabian government's public investment fund. Are they related? Are they not related? Who's to say? The issue is that minutes later, right as they were segueing into the eulogy of Siege caster and community figure Michael Kickstar Stockley, who passed away tragically last fall, a blog post was released detailing that the major was slated in no uncertain terms to be held in the United Arab Emirates. Now, I'm not saying that the timing was purposeful on Ubisoft's part, but even if it was an oversight, I don't need to tell anyone how disrespectful that is. For those who aren't aware, the UAE is largely considered to be one of the world's worst human rights abusers. On paper, gay relationships are illegal and punishable under Sharia law. Trans identities are also illegal and punishable. General ethical outrage aside, there are certain members of Siege's talent desk who publicly identify as LGBTQ+, and understandably were afraid of potentially risking their own personal security should they attend the major and just do their job. Suffice it to say, the community was livid. Literally everyone, from casters to creators to competitors to everyday community members, were taking to Twitter to make their objections heard. What's more, the following day, a petition was uploaded to change.org urging Ubisoft to reconsider the location of the August major. In what felt like one big swell of support, the community shared it en masse, taking a unified stand.
Rainbow Six Siege has always been a game about inclusion and diversity, both for the operators in-game and the community that plays them. It doesn't feel right to me to hold a major event for this game in a country whose government doesn't have those same beliefs. If you feel the same way, click on the link, visit change.org, and make your voice heard.
And then, after 2 days of radio silence from Ubisoft, the developer announced that they would in fact be heeding the community's concerns and finding a new, yet-to-be-determined location for the major. The community rejoiced, of course, and immediately began thanking Ubisoft for how swiftly and effectively they listened to feedback that, let's be honest, should never have been required to begin with. Still, they did listen, and that's what matters. I'll be honest. The tone of this video was shaping up to be very different until Ubisoft made the announcement that they would be reverting their decision. Of course, there's no guaranteeing that Siege and esports in general will not again be used to sportswash oppressive regimes. But for now at least, we can rest assured knowing that we were able to stave off what is, I hope, not the inevitable future of this ESL Faceit acquisition. I should also reiterate, as others in the community already have, that none of this backlash was meant to be directed at the people of the Emirates, nor their faith or culture, merely the government and the laws they uphold. There are those who are using this as an excuse to be Islamophobic, which is horrifying and disgusting and not at all what this is about. The point was also not to stifle the growth of Middle Eastern Siege, which, unfortunately, has sort of been a consequence of this cancellation, as conveyed by the heartfelt message shared by Middle Eastern caster Pisty. This region deserves attention, and the hope is that one day soon, it'll get it.
But maybe one day it will happen, and until then, all we want in my region is to have our own LAN event. We never had one. None of the huge name players that are in my region ever had one. And those people deserve to be in the sunlight for once in their life. And anyway, I was fine with that. You guys want to move it? That's fine, move it. But give us some attention.
Anyway, in spite of all of that, what a killer Invitational. I'm really glad that I get to end this video the way I always anticipated, which was by welcoming the so-called Year of Siege and thanking Ubisoft's ridiculously hardworking Montreal team for giving us everything we wanted and more. I truly believe that we are entering the second age of Siege, and I hope that you are as psyched as I am to see how it unfolds. You understand that I could make a fucking mod, a Counter-Strike mod, if I knew how to do that, and I don't know how to do that. But like, if I knew how to do it, I could do it in like a week. One dude sitting in his computer, I could just make like a shooting range in Counter-Strike and just upload it to the Steam Workshop. Took Ubisoft 6 fucking years, 6 fucking years to give me a room that I can just walk in and shoot at a fucking wall. Gets me worked up.